So many people on this planet feel like they're not allowed to be themselves. They feel like they have to live up to somebody else's expectations. They feel like they have to live up to somebody else's idea of the life that they should be living. They feel like they have to be something that they're not. They feel like if they have an emotion, they're not allowed to feel that emotion 100%. They feel like they're not allowed to be fully who they truly are. And this is not an easy way to live, because if we live a life that's based on someone else's narrative, someone else's idea of the life that we should be living, or not in alignment with what we truly feel is right for us, that's a life based on a lie. That's not a life that's in alignment with your heart and who you truly are. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to be fully who you truly are, and also unapologetically, because you don't have to apologize for being who you really are. You don't have to apologize for wanting what you want. You don't have to apologize for being the fullness of who you really are at the core. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to be fully who you are unapologetically. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. So you got to understand that being who you fully are is one of the best things that you can do, not only for yourself, but also the world. Because when you give yourself permission to be who you really are, you're also giving other people permission to be who they really are. Whether they see that consciously or unconsciously, you're actually putting that person in their power, because you're letting them know, whether explicitly or just implicitly based on the energy that you bring, that you should be who you are. You should be the fullness of who you are, unapologetically. Now, the first thing that you can do to be fully who you really are, to be fully your truth, is to take space to reflect on what you truly want in your heart. And it's important to take that space. It's important to go within yourself, to do some meditations, or to just spend more time alone and to ask yourself, what do I really want? If there's no expectations that I have to follow, and you really don't have any to follow, by the way, no matter how much it may seem, you're allowed to do what you want to do. Sometimes it can seem like we have to do things because of the circumstances that we're in, but truly at the core of reality, you're allowed to be who you are. So it's important to take time to really investigate, what is it that you truly want in this world? What do you truly want? Not what somebody else wants for you, not somebody's narrative and story that you should be living into. And I say should in that way because there's really no shoulds in life. There's nothing you have to do. It's what you want. What you want to do is what you're allowed to do. And if your parents want something for you, the truth is, you don't have to do it. There's no rules to life. Where's the rule book? Is there a rule book that says in the universe, you have to be this way? The only rules is the rules that the mind creates. The only rules is the rules that we created in our own minds. And you have permission to take time to go within and ask yourself, what do I really want? What is it that I want? If I had no external influences, if there was no social conditioning getting in the way of the way that I see the world, if my perception of reality is not blocked by the conditioning of my family and society and friends, if you truly tap into your heart space, if you truly tap in to your truth, what would you want in this world? Would it still be the same thing that you've been wanting? Would it change? Would you feel better? Would you feel happier? Because So many people feel like they have to live a life that their parents want for them. And it can sound so cliche and like inspirational and motivational when I talk about it like that. But like, how many people don't live up to their potential because they live a life that somebody else wants for them? And we only get one life. We only get one life on this planet. Like, think about that. There's only one life that we get. And do you want to live a life that somebody wants for you? Because you're going to definitely hold resentment towards that person in the long run. So maybe in the short term, you go after something, people get offended, they have objections, they have resistance. But then at the end of the day, you're just living the life that you want. So take the time to investigate, what do you really want? Just tap into your heart space. What do you really want? Now, the second thing you can do to be fully who you are is to understand that you don't have to pretend to be something that you are not. So if somebody has an idea of something that you should be, you do not have to pretend to be that. You do not have to pretend to be that. You do not have to pretend to be a doctor if you don't want to be a doctor. You don't have to pretend to be a lawyer if you don't want to be a lawyer. You don't have to pretend to go to school if you don't want to go to school. You don't have to pretend to feel another emotion that you don't feel. If you feel a negative emotion in your body, you don't have to pretend that you don't feel that. You're allowed to feel that. You're allowed to express that. And you're allowed to not say anything if you don't want to say anything other. You're allowed to stay silent. You're allowed to speak your truth. You're allowed to stay silent. You do not have to pretend to be something that you're not. You do not have to wear a mask and pretend to be something that you're not. You don't have to play a role that you don't want to be playing. Because we all play characters in life, and which character do you want to play? Which character does your soul choose? Does your higher self choose? Because you get to choose the character you play, not somebody else. You do not have to pretend to be something that you're not. Now, the third way to be fully who you are, and this is one of my top values. One of my top values, and something that I learned about myself over the last couple years, is that if you want to be fully who you are, always tell the truth. See, I always tell the truth, one, because I'm just super sensitive, and if I lie, people will probably feel that. They'll feel that. There's going to be, it won't be congruent. If I lie, it won't be congruent. Now, lying is not the same thing as having boundaries and not sharing, because the truth in that moment could be, I want nothing to do with this person. I want to be alone and I don't want to share anything. That could be the truth. That's not a lie. Not sharing something is not a lie. Not sharing something is the truth in that moment. So when I say tell the truth, telling the truth could mean saying nothing. But the key is to always speak up if you want to speak up. And don't speak up if you don't want to speak up. Because the key is to realize that if you don't tell the truth, you're basically lying to yourself. If you lie to somebody else, you're basically lying to yourself. You're basically living on a lie if you lie to somebody else. So when you want to be fully who you are, it's important to always tell the truth. Share with people how you really feel or don't, but own it fully. Don't half own who you are in that moment. Fully own your truth. If you feel a negative emotion in your body, well then express that. If you feel like there's something going on that you have to speak up on, well then express that. If you feel like you have to tell the truth, then tell the truth. And the truth really will set you free. If you feel like it's hard to say something, share that. Sometimes people ask me, Francis, there's something that I don't really know how to say. How do I say it? We'll start with that. I don't know how to say this, but I want to say something to you. Tell the truth fully. So many people share with me, like, Francis, there's this thing that I want to share with this person. And I say, what do you want to tell them that you're afraid to say? And there's this, and this, and this, and this. How do I say it? We'll say it just like that. say it just like that. If you feel like it's hard to say something, well, then you could even say that it's hard to say this thing, but I want to share this thing with you. Tell the truth, because people need to know the truth, even if it's hard for them to hear, even if it's hard for that person to hear what it is that you have to say, even if it's hard for you to say it, it's important to tell the truth, because when you don't tell the truth, what happens is that it creates an imbalance in life. It creates disharmony with the way life is naturally supposed to progress into. Like if somebody's causing you a lot of pain, if somebody's causing you a lot of issues, you have to tell them the truth if you actually feel that. Now, I'm not saying that you have to, so I don't mean it in that sense. You don't have to, that's what I'm saying. If you don't want to say anything and you want to leave silent, you have full permission to leave silent. But just remember that if you want to tell the truth and you feel the need, you feel an urge to tell the truth, you feel like, I have to say this thing right now to this person, for me and for them, and it's going to create a win-win, share the truth. Share what the truth is in that moment. Don't be afraid to share the truth, because sharing the truth will set you free and it will benefit that person. Even if the truth in that moment is, you're causing me a lot of pain right now in my life, the person has to know that. If you want to share that, if you feel like you have to share it. Because when you share truths that are hard for that person to receive, that could be something that they needed to hear to learn a lesson. When you share the truth with somebody, you say to somebody, for example, you're causing me a lot of pain, that could have been what led to that person's awakening. That could have been what led to that person's breakthrough. Because you told them how much pain they're causing you. You let them know that they're causing you lots of pain. And then that was the trigger for them to be who they really are, because you gave permission for yourself to be who you are and to share your truth. And then spontaneously, that person may automatically tap into their truth just because you were being who you are. You see, the greatest teacher in life is being. Being who you are is one of the best teachers in life. You can tell people what to do, and that's part of it, is sharing the truth, but it's also about being who you are and being that truth and sharing from that space of being. Now, the fourth thing you can do to be fully who you are is just allow yourself to feel how you feel. Like, just allow yourself to feel how you feel. Like, if you want to have a straight face and not smile, you're allowed to have a straight face and not smile, okay? Sometimes I feel like I have to pretend to smile when I don't want to, and I feel right now like an actual smile coming, like I feel like, just like smiling. But sometimes, do you ever feel like you see that? Like, this is what I used to do. I used to go out into public, and I still do, but not to say that I don't go out into public now, but what I used to do when I used to go outside, which I still do, of course, but the way that I used to act when I would go outside, and the key word is act, I would pretend to be something that I'm not. So you ever give people that fake smile? The smile where you're not actually smiling, you're not actually being who you fully are. And it's like you feel some emotions in your body, like you feel some negative emotions in your body, and then you start to pretend that you don't feel those emotions, and you put on that fake smile. You go like, it's like a fake smile. It's a fake smile. It's not the truth. It's really not the truth at all. It's not how you feel in that moment, and you feel the need to be something that you're not. So the key is to allow yourself to feel what you feel. If you feel some extremely negative emotion in your body, well, then give yourself permission to feel that. Give yourself permission to express that if you want to. Give yourself the opportunity to just to be with that feeling. There's nothing wrong with feeling a negative emotion. You don't have to pretend to feel that to not feel that emotion. You're allowed to feel that emotion. You're allowed to have a straight face and not smile sometimes. True self-love is accepting what you feel in that moment. It's not pretending to smile when you don't want to be, or pretending to be engaged in the conversation when what you'd really prefer to do is just be like, hey, I don't want to talk about this right now. I just want to be alone. You know, that's allowed. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to feel what you feel. If you want to be fully who you are, allow yourself to feel what you feel. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you feel in that moment. And if you don't, you're not honoring fully your humanness. I'm not saying to unconsciously fall into patterns, to unconsciously identify with your emotions, to unconsciously fall into anger, to unconsciously fall into a lower state of being and let yourself go. I'm saying to be fully conscious of what you feel and allow it. Allow it from a space of consciousness, not unconsciousness. And I want to make that super clear, because when I say allow yourself to feel what you feel, what I'm not saying is to let yourself be totally unconscious and to totally go out of alignment with your truth. That would lead to a lot of problems, So what I really mean is to, like, if you feel negative emotions, be fully with it. Be there as the observer. Be there as the conscious witness. Be there as the awareness, and let yourself feel those emotions. Give yourself the feminine, nurturing space that negative emotion needs, that pain body needs, because that's just pain rising up to the surface that needs to be processed. And unless you give yourself permission to process that pain fully, what's going to happen is it's going to rise up to the surface in another moment in life. And sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it's hard, sometimes we might get angry at people, we might project onto people, we might perceive people in a certain way that's out of alignment with who that person really is. But it's like, these things may happen in life, but it's completely normal. It's a part of being a human. Part of being human is feeling negative emotions sometimes. And part of growing and becoming who you truly are is to accept that we feel these emotions, is to accept fully in the present moment that these emotions are arising. And it's not easy sometimes, but it's a huge key to really be fully who you are. Now, the fifth thing to be fully who you are is to own who you are 100%. Just own who you are. Own who you are. If you feel a certain emotion, own it 100%. Don't identify with it, be conscious of it, but own it 100%. Own who you are. If you decide to go down some career path, own who you are. If you decide to play some role in life, own who you are. Own that fully. Own it 100%. Don't half be who you are. Don't half be who you are. Be 100% who you are. See, there came a point in my life where I would compare myself to other YouTubers. I would compare myself to the way that other YouTubers are, and I had some expectation that I had to be that way. And then I was having a call with my mentor, and my mentor said, Francis, I want you to be like, he's like, Francis, you know what I would love to see? I would love to see more of Francis. That's what I'd love to see more of. And that really hit me hard, because I realized, like, okay, I don't have to be like these other YouTubers. Like, a lot of YouTubers that I look up to, that I enjoy watching, that inspired me to step up and share my message on this platform and to be who I really am. And then I felt like I had to be some way that I wasn't at some point in my life. And that was me learning to become more of who I really am, which of course I'm still learning who I really am. And sometimes I come off a certain way and then I think, oh, well, I'm not acting like this person. And it's like, no, what the world needs more of is you. The world doesn't need more of you being somebody else. The world needs more of you, because you are a unique being that came here to be the fullness of you, not to pretend to be something that you're not and to pretend to live into something that you don't want to live into and to live up to somebody else's expectations. So when you go through this whole process of going into yourself and finding out what it is that you want and being a certain way, own that. Own that. And be it fully. You want to drop out of school like I did, I'm not saying you have to, but just like for example, own that 100%. People will feel that off of you. When I wanted to drop out of school, it wasn't like, am I going to ask somebody for permission? It's like, no, I'm dropping out of school. What do you think about that? It doesn't matter because I'm doing it anyways. And that's the truth. And it's like, it's not that I'm not compassionate for people, and I am, but it's like, if you want something, own it. Once you pull your energy in, once you find out who you truly are at the core, once you start to decide what you want, it's very easy to get sucked into other people's energy and their opinions. Don't let that happen. Own who you are. See, doubt only comes in when we start to fall into other people's reality. We start to question, oh, can I really do this? Because we're too lost in the external. If you want something, go after it and own it 100%. Own it with full integrity. Own it with full consciousness. And watch how the universe will work in your favor. Watch how certain people will accept you. Certain people will leave, and that's okay. But the people that accept you will accept you for you because you're fully congruent with your values. You're fully congruent with who you really are. And that's what the world needs more of, is more of you, not more of you being somebody else. Is more of you being in alignment with your higher self. Is more of the uniqueness that you came here to be. Is more of the individual that you are, because there's nobody else like you. There's nobody else like you. You are you, and you came here to be you, and you want to own that 100% with full integrity and unapologetically own who you want to be in this life. So that's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. As always, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.